So next question, we will go with our next question, which is related to best practices in managing dependencies. Okay, so this is very simple. People used to think like, okay, we have dependencies and I have identified the dependencies, and so I will track the dependencies and we can close it. But I just want to make it in a very elaborated way, that what and all we will be doing as part of best practices. It's not about just managing dependencies. What are the best practices? If we follow, it will be good to manage the dependencies without much trouble. So first thing, I just want to categorize into three. First thing is we need to identify what are the dependencies. Second thing, assign action owners and define the date for the closure of the dependency. Third one is track the dependencies. This is what I feel first we need to ensure that these three things are taken care or not. Like anytime the dependency can be realized. For example, when we are refining the particular work item, any work item, we may encounter that these are the dependencies we have. Like for example, UI UX wireframe is not ready when we are refining. This is one typical example generally we may face as part of the refinement session. This detail of design may not be available. So still we will be in a position to estimate it, and we will go ahead with the set of actually closing the refinement session with the estimated user story. Let me put it in a little different way. Team is unable to estimate because they are unable to even visualize how the screen is going to be without the UI UX wireframe. So this is a dependency. In the refinement session, it's happening, which is actually noted by the Scrum Master. Now what Scrum Master should do is try to resolve this dependency before the next refinement meeting, so that team will be able to see how the screen or the how the UI UX wireframe looks like, so that they will be able to comfortably understand the design and estimate it accordingly. Because for estimation, this is one key point that team feels. Now, this is a dependency. So I have identified the dependency. So now here the action owner is, as a Scrum Master, I can own this action item. The reason being, I need to connect with the design team and give them the date that this is the next refinement meeting we have. And can you give this as a priority item so that team will be able to estimate it, because the functionality is clear to the team. But unfortunately, we don't have the design to complete the overall estimation activity. So this part is nothing but assigning the dependency and taking that action item and making a particular date when we want actually this dependency to be closed. Now, I have identified it. I have made the action owner and the date when we need it. But the third point is we need to track it very confidently and very religiously. The reason being, if we just make it as a part of action item, we may miss that. So it is always a good practice to keep it as part of the item in the board, which means you can create some kind of story, which is nothing like overhead or some bucket or some placeholder to manage all these dependent items, so that everyday stand-up meeting, it is always good to know what is the status of that particular dependency item and share the status. Like for example, if I'm telling to my product owner as part of the daily stand-up, at the end of the daily stand-up, I'm saying like, I just got the confirmation from the design team, as they are blocked with the other priority work, they may not be able to give the design. So why can't you actually pick up some other items for refinement? So in a way, it is also giving a heads up to the product owner that these items, what he or she has planned, may not be actually the candidate for the refinement, next refinement session, because design part is not yet ready. In other words, team has actually completed the estimation without even the design available. They have they actually, with the help of the product owner, they were able to understand, okay, this is how the screen is going to look like, and estimation has been taken care by the team, considering the visual what product owner has shown, not the actual design, not the actual UI UX wireframe. Now it is also estimated, but we are planning to pick that as part of the upcoming sprint. Only 2 days left. But now as a Scrum Master, I am giving the update at the end of the daily stand-up meeting. No, this is not going to be completed in another 2 days. The reason being, design team has other priority work. They have not yet started working on this item. Now, product owner should try to reprioritize whatever it is already planned. Okay, so this item is not going to be part of the upcoming sprint backlog. So instead of this, what is the next item? So as a Scrum Master, I should work with product owner to keep him or her posted about this information, so that we will be able to pick the next priority item as part of the sprint backlog, so that there won't be any kind of blocker during the sprint planning. So this way we will be able to track it. So in a nutshell, 3 steps. One is identifying the dependencies. Next is identifying the right action owner and the date when we need it. And the third one is we need to track it very seriously, so that we will be able to give the information to right people at right time, so that we will be able to take actual right steps before we encounter the problem. So this is the part of dependency management. Now coming to dependencies, other way of handling. So one is these are dependencies that are happening within the team. Like this is going to be like within a team, we have a designer who is working from the design team, and that particular designer is unable to share the UI UX wireframe. So that's the concern we had, and that's a dependency. So we managed with the making that as a dependent item, and we tracked it. Now, say for example, we have one more Scrum team who is working on some platform. Okay, they are the team who are going to deliver the platform, and I am at the side of platform consumer end, which means I am working on an application. My application is actually going to be deployed on that platform. So here it's a known thing that there is a dependency. What sort of dependency means? Without that platform availability, I cannot actually launch my application, even though my application is ready. So when my application will be ready, for example, it is going to be ready at sprint 4 or something, I need to give that kind of heads up to the Scrum Master of the other team, saying that so and so time we will be ready with the application. If the platform is not ready, what is the other alternative? Because end-to-end application testing or end-to-end scenarios to cover on the application, whether we are able to deploy the application, whether any kind of errors we are facing, or what is the time of taken during the deployment. These all are the things that we will be checking, but we need a platform. So for that, we need to give the heads up to the platform team, saying that, hey, so and so time we will be ready with the application. So when we will be able to get the platform. So if by chance they are saying like maybe it will go till 4th sprint, so we need to make some alternate option. Okay, so why can't I actually try with some kind of some other platform that they have already prepared, which will be sufficient, but not the whole functionalities what we are expecting may not be available. But it is good to at least test whether the application we can deploy it or not. So that kind of alternate steps also we can take. So that is one level of managing the dependency. Then we have another Scrum team who is going to be actually deliver some core items which actually we need for our testing or for deployment or for upcoming sprints. So that way these kind of dependencies should be managed. Let's take the dependency what we are facing is entirely in a different business unit, or maybe we have a different altogether a different team which actually we need to connect with. In that case, we need to understand there is a dependency that they need to have their release in certain time. Then we need to test our application on that platform, so that we will be able to confirm and say that, okay, my application can be launched on that particular platform. So in that case, we need to actually connect through RTE or maybe program team, so that we will be able to connect with that program team to understand the release dates and ensure that when their release dates are going to be, so that we can say that these are the dates we need some kind of help or support from you people, so that we will be able to get the build and see whether the application can be deployed on that or not. So dependencies, it's not like it will be within the team, it can be within the same train, same release train also it can be, like you may be in need of a platform and you are in the application team, it can be into a different train itself, like it can be into a different program also. In that case, you should have their release plan known, so that you will be able to understand as a scrum master when you will be actually in need to get their support. And these kind of dependencies should be tracked and informed at program level, so that people at program level also will be able to understand, okay, these all are the dependencies we have with other programs, and we need to be always keep an eye on those release dates as well. And if there is any kind of delay in those dates, we also need to plan accordingly. So these kind of things will really help in managing the dependencies within team and within train and within a program. Yeah. Sunand, you want to add any points from your side?
Okay, so let's talk about how to manage dependencies in Agile project. Let's understand what is dependency. So you can say a dependency is the relationship that defines the order in which tasks are carried out. So for let's example, task B is depend on task A. If the start or the finish date of task A must be reached before task B can be started. So in Agile world, dependencies are the relationship between work that determine the order in which the work items, for example, features, stories, tasks must be completed by the Agile team. Let's take an example. You might be depend on an ops team to perform deployment, or you need assistance from a DBA before you can deploy any new feature into the production. These kind of dependencies are there in any kind of project. So if you do not manage your dependencies properly, dependencies can interrupt work, and they can also impact your deliverables, and they can also affect your various project matrices. So let's take one more example. Let's say you have new feature that require an API change to another team service, and your ticket or your user story sits in their board for weeks. So dependencies like these make it hard for you to predict when your work can be completed, and that can also interrupt your team flow. That can also delay different processes and distract you from doing your actual work. Most of the time you will just doing the follow-up with those teams. So sometimes very frustrating for team members because they cannot push work to production, and they start collecting feedback from users because it's just sitting in the queue, so you cannot do much about those things, right? So let's talk about what are the different types of dependencies. Dependencies are of many kinds. For example, requirement dependencies. So requirement dependencies happen when the team is unclear on a requirement, and let's say the PO with the domain knowledge is not available to provide that info. It can be PO, it can be BA, or any other architect person. It can be anyone. So those are the requirement dependencies. Then we have something called expertise dependency. So let's assume that um, you have any specific person, that person only know the specific things. So for example, you want to do some change in the schema, and for that you require a DBA to do that particular kind of job, right? That expertise dependencies are that kind of dependencies. Then we have something called activity dependencies. So activity dependencies are when progress cannot be made on a piece of work until an external activity is completed. So for example, you are just you may be like waiting for your development environment to be ready before development can be begin. So these are the activity based dependency. Now we have something called business process dependencies. So these are the dependencies which is very specific to your business process. For example, we have most of the organization, we have CAB. CAB is nothing but the change advisory board. Those people that CAB normally provide the approval if you want to put something into the production, or sometimes compliance related reviews are being also done by CAB, right? So these are come under dependencies under business process. Now we have something called technical dependencies. Now technical dependencies occur when the work require technical changes in very specific area of that particular system, and that is in the control of the outside team. So for example, you need a change in an API that is managed by another team. Now this can be combined by tight coupling. So for example, if your API is not strictly versioned, your request change might require changes to the downstream system as well, which mean that even more dependencies for you. So these are the certain kind of dependencies. Let's talk about different approaches, how to we can mitigate these dependencies. So we can broadly divide it into two parts, internal dependencies and the external dependencies. So let's see what we can do about them. So very first thing which we can do is automation. Yeah. So wherever possible, automate your repetitive tasks with the appropriate control that will really going to help you. And things like CI/CD, configuration, integration, deployment, or just automate some repetitive support tasks that will be easy for you in a long run. That will definitely going to remove or mitigate dependencies. So automation is the first thing which you can do. Then other thing is you can standardize your processes. So if automation is not feasible, make sure that the processes happen the same way each time to eliminate planning and coordination. So you should be very clear about your processes, specifically with respect to release and all. Sometimes people got confused. So please standardize your processes. Make sure that everything is step by step documented. So whoever is going to read that particular document, they should understand. So this is the second strategy which you can use, different approach which you can use to mitigate. The other thing is we call it a gatekeeper approach. So basically, we need to prevent dependencies from affecting the team's throughput by blocking the stories with the dependencies from entering the sprint until they are reasonably sure that the dependency will be resolved in time. So you can use this approach, but sometimes not that feasible because this is with respect to the other team, right? But yeah, I mean, if you have your DOR in place and make sure that you will strictly follow that. So this approach you can use when we have dependencies with the other teams. Then other thing is the other strategy is like you can if your dependency require a significant amount of effort to resolve, you should proactively work with the downstream team to ensure that their work is planned and executed ahead of time. So you need to do a lot of follow with them. You need to do a micromanagement in this kind of approach. But yeah, it's required in this kind of the way of working. The other thing is which you can do it, you can do it yourself. So wherever possible, offer to do some downstream work yourself. You can do a pair programming with the some other team members who are doing your work, and yeah, over the period of time, gain that expertise. So the idea is do it yourself. That is the other approach which you can follow. Now, other thing is you can remove the dependencies from your scope. So how we can do that? You might be heard about setup of test stubs or mocks or fakes. So basically, you have to unblock yourself by faking it, or you can create some dummy infrastructure to complete the work of your side. And in this way, you are delivering on your commitment, and you have decoupled yourself from the requirement that the dependency is deployed. So this work very well in the large organization. Just like you have to, we have some formal engagement model with your PO or with the different team, and everyone should be agree on this. But it's really going to work good if you have a multiple team with a lot of dependencies. So try those stuffs, mocks, and fakes, and it's definitely going to work for you. Then the other thing which we can do for both the internal and the external team is like you can have a different agile events, right? So try to utilize those events. So for example, you can set up recurring check-in meetings with the teams you depend on or who depend on you, both way check-ins to keep the shared requirement in front of everyone. That you can do. Then we have a stand-up. So try to attend the stand-ups whenever it makes sense. And yeah, of course, you need to take their permission, and they can also come and attend yours. So in this way, it's really going to help. They will know like what is happening on day-to-day basis. Or you can also do Scrum of Scrum also. That also a part. But then I would suggest you, if you one of your team member can go in there actual stand up, this will definitely going to do a lot of wonders. Then we have retrospectives. Now, though that this retrospective is specifically to the teams, but then you can have a kind of retrospective with the two different teams where they can just come collaborate. They can share their mutual challenges and issues with each other, with both the teams, and they can work on a long-term engagement, like how we can work on this type of engagement. That is also going to do a wonder if you can have a joint retro with the multiple teams. And the other thing which we can do is, yeah, I mean, uh, our goal, so that whatever thing is happen, right? Invite the relevant teams to design, review, project planning meetings, check-in, retrospective, to give them an insight into the work that you do, why it's so important, and how it aligned with the company's top level goals with this particular product goal, and take an interest and learn about their concerns. That is again important. So the both the teams, the multiple teams should align on the common goal. That is again very much important if you want to reduce this kind of dependencies. So yeah, these are the certain approaches which we can do. Yeah, thanks all.